Welcome back to the Market Makers of Iowa Real Estate podcast. My name is Darson Grantham, and on this episode, we have a really fun one with Joanna May. I've never met her in person, so I'm meeting her for the first time. She does a good amount of business, has a small team, has been on a big team, has also done a solo, and so she's kind of been through all the realms of team versus solo and all that. Also done admin work, so she's got a really, really good expertise. But nonetheless, on this podcast, on the Market Makers of Iowa Real Estate podcast, we just interview agents and lenders across the state of Iowa, and we talk about what we see in each other's business, how we expect each other to come out in our business, how to work together better. And honestly, I just get tired of everyone kind of poo-pooing on other agents and lenders and just complaining. And I want to interview agents across the state of Iowa that are more positive and can encourage others to, hey, this is how you can create a good experience for both yourself, your clients, and other agents and lenders. So that's what we do on this podcast. It's simple as that. Let's go on with the interview with Joanne. Well, Joanne, welcome to the podcast. I appreciate you taking time out of this dreary day.
I know,
not showing houses or doing listings, appointments and whatnot, but thanks for coming on to the podcast.
Well, I appreciate you having me.
Yeah. And this will be a fun one because I've never met you in person. All the rest of the guests I think I've met in person at least. But I know that your name's run across my desk a few times of people recommending of just, hey, you should reach out to her. She'd be a fun one on the podcast and just good insight, runs good business.
That's nice.
Yeah. And so
I like hearing that.
yeah. And like, it's one of the reasons I wanted to have this podcast also is just get more familiar with local agents. So I think as agents, we hear a lot about agents that are, blowing big, right? The big teams. You hear a lot about the agents in your business or in your brokerage, typically. Some brokerages, some they don't. And then others are like, you don't know, like I'm at Keller. I don't know that much about the RE/MAX agents. Are you at RE/MAX?
Yes.
RE/MAX. Precision. Okay. And then, your Century 21, like I just don't hear about those other agents as much unless they're really touting on social media. So that's why I want to have this podcast and just introduce agents to other agents, hear what agents like about working with other agents and what their struggles with are, so that maybe those agents can and me myself too is like, I want to know what other agents expect out of me. So that's why we're here. So let's start kind of generally. Give us your 2-minute background of what did you do before real estate, and then kind of where you're at in your business now, team structure and all that good stuff.
Well, a few years ago, I started as an admin, actually. I've been in the restaurant business for a long time, and then I was like in the construction area. And then I was an admin for Angie Meek, as a matter of fact, for about 4.5 years when she was at Concepts. Okay. And that was when my kids were little. So
and she ran a pretty good sized business then. Yeah,
it was her and her daughter. Okay. Her daughter came on it, but it was just her at the time. But yeah, she does really good business. She's been licensed since 2002, so she's been around a long time.
So that's a good admin to, hey, a producing agent, high level agent.
Correct.
Helps a lot.
And you learn it from the inside out, which I think is the best way to learn it. And then I left her and went to a full-time marketing gig with Johnstone Supply, ran their social media and their website and all that, their bigger customers and stuff like that. And then I got sick of being in an office and literally went and got licensed without telling anybody. Didn't even tell my husband. And I said, by the way, I got licensed. He's like, what? I said, I'm done with the office stuff. I'm out. And I joined a team, left that team and started my own team, and I was able just to rock and roll right out of the gate just because I knew it. Yep. I knew the contracts, I knew dot loop, I knew the MLS, I knew all that stuff. So that was a blessing. My first year I was only licensed for like 8 months maybe. I sold 26.
Yeah, good job.
I'm 48, and it just got bigger. And then I started my own team, and I have 2 girls on my team, and I have an admin, so we're rocking and rolling.
Oh, fun.
Next Door Real Estate Team is the name of it.
Next Door, cool. So it's always next door.
It is,
Awesome. Good for you.
Thanks.
So you basically got paid to learn real estate as an admin, right?
Perfect.
Essentially, that's the method that you took. Everyone says they have a different way of entering the real estate market. I think there's just a handful, and that's definitely one of them. We had Jess Kammerman on in a previous episode, and she started as an admin on Dave Steinig's team at Keller Williams, and then is now running. She's solo, but absolutely learned it from the inside out and was able to thrive after she decided to do her own thing.
I think that's the best training, though. Like, in all actuality, if an agent's going to start, just be a licensed assistant for a little while and learn the systems, learn .loop, learn the MLS, learn the ins and out of how leads come in, your CRM.
I was just going to ask, so you were the admin. One of the struggles a lot of agents have is it's the leads. It's not always the administrative side. So what did you... learning the leads, like how did you get the leads to come in? What did you do to have that flow that first year that you learned from Angela or the other agents?
I was on a team, so that obviously
that first year you were on a team. Okay.
Right. And I have a pretty big sphere. Like, I know a lot of people. My daughter played softball for years, so I have families upon families, you know, and stuff. So, and I just have a good relationship with people in general. Yeah. So I think that's how that all started.
That's awesome. So sphere,
I'm probably 85% referral.
Awesome.
So
they just know you as the real estate lady.
Mm-hmm. Like, I help whole families, like cousins of uncles of, you know, I mean, it's just the whole chain. Like, I think in one family, I helped like 7 people, like down the line, you know, my friends' nieces and nephews are now married and have kids. And, you know,
how do those clients or how do those past clients know to refer you? Like, do you do anything special, any marketing, postcards, or just like social media, or do you call and text everybody? Like, what's that look like?
I think once one of them buys with me and somebody else in that family talks about it, then they're like, hey, go talk to Joanne. You know, she'll take care of you. And I just am in contact with people all the time. We have a really good, you know, touches all the time with our people. So it's just something we've always done. Yeah. You know, we do pop buys. We just stop by their house with a little cup and some candy or something.
Yep.
You know, we have our admin takes care of that. So those are done continuously. There's a whole chart. Like, it's all.
I was going to say, so this sounds like there's systems.
We have lots of systems.
Yeah. Tell me about that. That's one thing that I see the value in, but I struggle with. I'm on to the next thing. After about 3 hours of something, I'm like, I'm on to the next. So I really struggle with systems. So yeah, help me understand that.
Kind of in a calendar in a way, I guess. We do it by city. So like, she'll just pick a city and she'll go hit that city.
Okay.
You know, so like if we have clients in Norwalk, so she'll just head south and she'll hit them all in Norwalk that day. And she just takes a picture of it in front of their house and then we text it to them, to the client, and just say, hey, a little something to say hello. Hope you guys are doing well. You know, have a great day. And that's it. Awesome. Super simple.
That's awesome.
Now we give birthday cards. We send out birthday cards every month. So you just go and get everybody's names, and then now it's on a chart, so it'll just automatically, and we can just add to it every year, you know, as we gain clients and family and friends and that type of stuff. So yeah, we do a lot of those things. Anniversary cards every single year, no matter what.
A home anniversary
every year.
Yeah.
You know, there could be on year 7 and they'll get a card from us.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. I love it.
And then we know when they move. So, because usually we're on the other side of that transaction as well. So and we just have everything that's in Google.
So I was going to ask the most common next question everyone asks is, what's your CRM? Which I think I'm going to get on a rant here. The CRM doesn't matter. It matters whatever CRM you have, you actually just use.
Correct.
But what CRM, or how do you guys process
it? It could be crap in and crap out, right? I mean, it's good in, good in, out. I have Sierra Interactive, and I will tell you, it's probably one of the best ones out there.
So I love that one. I'm at Keller Williams, so I just use that one. I love one of my real estate coaches suggested Sierra Interactive. My struggle with them is like, because of the website. Their website, it has really good SEO, from my understanding. Yeah. One of the best CRMs that has that, and SEO is one of the cheapest, best ways to get, you know, organic leads. But I didn't want to use the CRM, and they would not separate the website from the CRM for me. Right. And they're like, is it like $400 a month?
It's like $500.
Yeah, $400 or $500. And I was like, I just can't do that for just a website. So that's awesome to hear that some local here is using Sierra Interactive.
But it does everything. It drips on them. Like, you can set up, like, we have a closing drip campaign. When they close, it drips on them. It asks for reviews. It does all that stuff. You know, if a lead comes in from Zillow or Realtor, there's a certain plan that just goes right on them right away until you change their status. I don't know. I just love it. It has tracker links that you can just put on all your posts on social media. So if somebody clicks on it, it sucks them into your CRM. Yeah. And then you can nurture them that way. It has so many different, you know, puts them on a drip campaign, not just a drip campaign, but a market update, you know, put them on a search, you know, you just set it up any way you want it. I just think it's good to not overwhelm them and, you know, where they're going to, you know, uninvite themselves from anything, but you just want them to see you every once in a while and remind them that, hello, I'm here.
Yep. Well, it's clearly worked, right? I mean, you've seen that. You've seen the referrals. When you get referrals, when past clients use you, like that is proof that whatever you're doing is working.
Absolutely.
One of the things I always do is I have a list of people who did not choose to use me. Yeah. After I sold them a house and they chose to list it with someone else or for sale owner, and like those are the motivators. Like those are the ones that okay, whatever I didn't do for them, I messed up, right?
Right.
What do I make sure that's
a thought to have that list. That maybe you still keep throwing some touches on them and seeing if you can.
Yeah, and it is,
you know,
commonly it's
top
not
of mind.
Yeah, commonly it wasn't because we had bad interaction. It's mostly my fault for not just being in front of them as the agent of choice. So
right,
totally my fault. I definitely don't blame them. But it's a good motivator. It's how I get motivated.
It's all about communication, I think, truly, when it comes down to it. If you're not in front of your people, they don't know any different. You know, even from the start of a transaction, you know, we have, we use Trello, and it has a checklist, you know, for my admin and for us as agents. And you have to follow that checklist, and you have to make sure that all these steps are taken and that everything in that transaction is processed the right way, and everybody knows where everything is at all the time. You know, even with the lenders, they're on the same notification. It's every Tuesday they go out.
Yep.
You know, Monday we update her on anything that's changed on the transaction, and then they get emailed out on Tuesdays. So
it's so funny how casual you make this, because you're like, it just is. And most agents are like, this is overwhelming. This is way too much.
And I will tell you, you know, Katie Stiles is my newest agent, and it is a little overwhelming for her, and it would be for anybody coming into this. And I understand that, and I don't have any issues with that. I'll take whatever time I need to get you where you need to be. And, you know, even the CRM, making calls and doing that type of stuff, you know, I plan on getting like an inside salesperson to start pounding out some phone calls, because I think somebody who has a little more real estate background is better for something like that. But Ashton Smith, who's on the team as well, she is a rock star on the phones. Like, she is my go-to. Hey, start calling some of these. And she'll get on there, and the CRM records the calls.
Okay.
If you call through the system, so you can refer back to it. Yeah. You know, so that's a nice bonus too. So you know exactly what was said. If you have to pass off the lead, you know what has transpired during that time.
And those would be more cold leads. Those are not past clients typically.
Yeah. You know, yeah, absolutely. Past clients we can talk to all day, every day, text them, whatever. But yeah, cold leads where you're not able to get them on the phone right away, and you throw them on a drip, and then you touch base with them whatever time frame you set up.
Yeah.
And it sets up tasks too on Sierra, by the way. So it reminds you to do stuff, you know. The minute they click on a house or something, or they're back on your website, then it notifies you, and you're like, hey, just throw them a little text. Yeah. Hey, just checking in, seeing how you guys are doing. Anything I can help with? Yeah. I think people like that though.
For sure. Like it's just the touches. It's you stay in front of them for no other reason than just to stay in front of them and to help them out if they have anything that's going on in real estate. But like, if you just are the face that they know, I always laugh. I say this almost every podcast. No one hires the best realtor. They hire the one they know.
Unless the one they know is the best realtor.
Yeah, define best. That's my point. Nobody hires the best realtor. Like they don't. Like, being a good realtor does not get you hired.
But the best is different to everybody.
I know, that's my point.
Right.
Right. So it's like, try to do all your trainings, to do dot loop the best way, or do the best demo line, it just doesn't. No. It just doesn't matter. It's the staying in front of the people. Absolutely. Getting in front of them.
Just handling the transaction the right way. You know, because we all know we have hiccups.
That is important, right? Okay, so that's a perfect segue. Perfect segue. When you were working with a co-agent, what is one thing that you just absolutely love to hear or have happen in the transaction to know you're working with a good co-agent?
The transparency. Like, you have to tell me everything. Like, I need to know ins and outs of everything that's going on. I am very upfront right out of the gate. I will never lie to you. I am no bullshit. Excuse my French.
Okay.
I will be open and honest about everything. Disclose, disclose, disclose. That's just the name of the game. And I just think that if you don't, you're putting yourself in a really bad situation, or could be
Right.
a bad situation. If the agent doesn't communicate, that absolutely drives me nuts. There's some agents that they don't want you to text them. You have to email them. Are you kidding me? Like, I don't have time to get on my email every day. Like, I just going to throw you a text and ask you a question. Why can't you just answer it?
Right.
And some of them just won't. I don't understand that at all.
Well, like, in their defense, my guess is they have passed on that to an admin or the next step in the transaction.
I don't care. You're the one still running the transaction. You're the one in charge. Your name is on it.
I get
right?
it.
I
Yes.
mean, answer the question. It's not that difficult.
Yes.
Or give me your admin's number then, and let me communicate with her if that's the case, or him if that's the case. I don't care who I communicate with, as long as I'm going to get my responses that I need or my client needs.
That's the most, probably the answer everyone's given is communication. And I always like to dig deeper into what is that?
Answer your phone.
What does that actually mean? I don't even care if they don't answer, just respond to a text or respond to an email.
To me, that's answering your phone.
Okay, fair.
Answer something.
Totally fair.
But if an email has to sit in your inbox for 3 days or 2 days or even 1 day and you can't respond to it, then respond to my text. Come on. Like, it's not that difficult.
100%. It's when the transaction gets sticky is when people don't answer, right? That's been my experience. And that's you're telling your client, hey, this is where we're at. I'm trying to get an answer from the agent. Mm-hmm. And I don't have an answer yet. That's
frustrating. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm not a fan of that. Like, I'll answer you right away.
Yeah.
I'm looking into it. I will find out. But having to tell somebody that, a client, over and over again is brutal.
Yeah. And it goes back to, why do we get paid what we get paid? And then why do we get paid the same as what the next person gets paid? Right. Yeah. And is it the same? Is it right? I would argue probably isn't, but it is what it is right now.
Right.
And that's when you tell your client, hey, like I've had clients ask, do they get paid the same as you? I'm like, generally, yes. And they're like, that sucks. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. One of us is not equal. We'll just put it that way.
Sometimes that's the case for sure.
Yeah. But okay. So when you're looking at putting an offer in or having your clients accept an offer, when you see the other agent that's putting in the offer and you've had past experience, good or bad, does that impact how you communicate with your client?
No.
Doesn't matter.
Nope.
So then the amount that you are respected or have respect in the industry is irrelevant to your clients and the transaction.
The amount as in commissions or?
No, just your ability to get their offer accepted, being respected by your coworkers or your co-agents. That's one thing that I've asked everyone, everyone's given a different answer. Is, do you need to be respected by the other agents? Do you need to be liked by the other agents that you're working with?
It might have some bearing on it, but I don't know that I've ever ran into that.
Okay.
I feel like I have a good relationship with everybody and anybody for that matter. I don't know that I have any bad blood.
Yeah.
There might be one, but
we all have that one.
But
doesn't matter.
I would never, even if it was I had a bad relationship with somebody and they made an offer on my listing, that would have zero bearing on the offer.
Okay.
And whether
your client would
accept it or not.
Or how they would.
No, I think that has zero to do with it. You're working for your client,
yep.
And whatever offer is going to be the best situation for them and get the best outcome, then that's what you do.
Yeah.
I don't.
No, that's cool.
I have ran into it where I put in offers and I was wondering if it wasn't going to get accepted because of that situation.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just upfront and I just let them know, hey, what does the seller want? Is there specific closing? Is there this type of stuff? What do they want to see on the purchase agreement? And I get that information and then we talk about the offer and we go from there.
Yeah. I've seen it both ways. So there's no right answer. It's just, it's part of.
I don't run into that enough, thank God.
To make it matter.
Where I'm super worried about it.
Yep. It's funny. The things that we agents worry about like that, you're like, it just doesn't move the needle. Right.
No,
So like,
I don't think so.
We had an argument in the office on a lovely, not a bad argument, but we were laughing. Do you go to all your sellers and buyers closings? And I don't. And there's another agent in the office that goes to everyone, and she just can't even comprehend why I wouldn't go to every one of them.
I go to every single buyer unless for some reason I'm out of town or something got switched and I couldn't switch my schedule, but it's on my calendar. Like my admin literally puts my closing dates and my times on, sends me the invite and it's on my calendar. I hate not being there on the buy side. The sell side, you just got to go drop off docs and, pick up checks. But I'm the one who delivers the proceeds check because that's the fun part. Got a big fat check for you. Where you want to meet?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So, no, I like being there just because I think I develop a good friendship with probably 90% of my clients that I'm still friends with them and they still recommend me to people and we're friends on Facebook. So, they love all my stuff and I love all their stuff and I know their kids, I just learn them all. Yeah. There's clients that I'll stop by and bring a pizza or Valentine's presents or something for the little kids and stuff. I've done that before and I think that stuff's just important. The heart that goes with it. Yeah. But it's not about the check to me at all in any way, shape or form. That's just the icing on the cake in my mind. Yeah. It's the relationships you build and the fun in the community and the happiness that they have when they finally close on their house, especially their first house when you're dealing with first-time buyers, the excitement in that. Yep. I work on the investor side too, so that's another part of the business that's fun too. I have ride or die investors, they will not use anybody else. Yeah. I'm their go-to. There was an off-market property that I have a client that's interested in, and he put his buddy on the phone, and he's like, well, I have an agent. I said, that's fine. You can have an agent. I said, but I'm his agent. Right. He's like, oh, so we don't just need one? I'm like, no. No, it doesn't work that way. Not always. It can be that way. Yes. I'd be happy to help you on both sides of it. Who's your agent? And then he told me who it was, and I'm like, oh, I love him. No, we'll start the conversation with him and we'll get it figured out. Cool. I will never step on anybody's toes. I will not do that. Right.
How have you tapped into that investor market? What is that? What have you done to be an investor agent?
I don't know that I've done anything specific, but a couple of them were just leads that came through. A couple of them were referrals from one of my clients that was looking to start getting into investing, and his tree guy actually was looking to start doing it, and I've been working with him for a couple of years now, and he's got 6 investment properties, and his house is on the market now, in case anybody needs a good house. It's west of mine. And he just refers me to all of his friends, and I have another who just builds a house here and there. He started wanting to buy houses to flip. It's just kind of a snowball effect, and I think if you show your worth, I know people are sick of hearing that, but it's the truth. If you don't talk with people and explain it to them, I will talk people out of a house before I'll talk them into a house. Just because if there's a situation where the house is not in good shape or, there's the foundation has issues or this, that, or the other, whatever it could be, I will talk them out of it because it's just, I could not put somebody in a house that wasn't right. Yeah. And I won't let somebody be house poor. I talk about their finances. I'm, and investors too. What are you planning on doing? Are you going to flip and hold? Are you going to, flip and sell? Or are you going to just buy it as a rental and just move people in? What is your plan? Yeah. So I have investors on all different scales, that do different things, Yep. I think it just depends on the people, and they're all ride or die at this point. So
have you learned that stuff?
Knock on some wood.
Have you learned that stuff as you've went on, or is that something have you flipped or have rentals yourself?
I do not. It's something that we've talked about doing and thought about doing. My husband likes the money in the bank and in the brokerage account, so that's where it is at the moment.
I get it. I get it.
I just know enough about it.
Yeah.
Like I can go to a house and tell you how much it's going to cost you to fix it.
Yep.
You know, I've just learned that.
Yeah. When you do enough business, you walk enough houses, you meet enough contractors, you pick that up, even if you don't do it yourself. I mean, a lot of agents and the investors too they'll downplay, hey, that agent doesn't have any rentals on their own. They don't really know how to do rental properties. And I would argue they may know how to do it if they don't have them. It's not a qualifier. It's a step up. A lot of times it's a qualifier. Like it helps, but it isn't the only thing that
Ashton
matters.
got her first rental and they're just getting it fixed up. So they got a renter already ready to go in it. So she's pretty excited to start that. So that's fun. I don't have any I don't know. I just think that I don't have to have them to know what I'm talking about.
It's very clear.
You know, I know what you can rent it for. I know where part of town you're in and I know what the rents are. I mean, there's easy ways to find that information.
Yep. And you've learned, again, like just talking to the agent who has not ever worked with any investors, you've learned that by just walking properties with a boatload of investors and contractors.
Absolutely.
And then obviously Facebook Marketplace to see what the rents are going to be, and you pay attention really closely. Like it can be a piece of your business and you don't have to own. Now I recommend, like I'm a big advocate to go buy some properties, like go buy a rental, set it and forget it. But I haven't bought very many the last 2-3 years because I'm growing my agent business. Like I'm reinvesting, I'm hiring admins, paying for more marketing, growing that business. And it just doesn't make a lot of financial sense to buy a rental, spend $60,000, buy a rental and not put that into my business. Like it just doesn't make sense for me.
And that's kind of where we're at, you know, it's just going into the business, you know, my husband wants to retire early and he's got his year 57 plan. So we'll see.
Good.
Do that.
Okay. So you have a team. Tell us about when you started as solo agent and then you decided to get a team. How did that look? Did you do it right from the beginning? Was there some mistakes, and what can you teach other people?
I did learn quite a bit from the first team I was on. A lot of it I already knew just because of who I worked for before that on the admin side, and most of those things were in place from that person. When I left, I was solo for probably about, 3 or 4 months maybe.
Okay.
And I just recruited my first team member, and she's kind of one of my ride or die people. Well, she is one of my ride or die people, and I just have a really good relationship with her. So we joined forces. We just hit 2 years together.
Oh, cool.
Beginning in June. So
and she was an agent.
She was.
Okay. First hire was an agent. Buyer's agent, seller's agent, just an agent. Not just an agent on the team.
Right.
Awesome.
Yep. We've all been licensed about the same time.
Okay.
4 years or so. And just had great success. I brought her in and we just started rocking and rolling, you know.
What skills does she have that you don't?
She has no fear on the phones. I can probably be a little more, because I'm one of those people that I hate getting all those damn phone calls, you know. I mean, I'll just hang up on you. Like, I don't want to be solicited or whatever. So I take that to heart when I go to make the phone calls, whereas she has no fear and she'll just call whoever, you know. And that's how you just clean up your database, I guess, is eliminate those. So I would say that's definitely her strength. And once she gets in front of somebody, she hasn't locked in. Like, they just love her and she does a really good job. I don't know that we have any, I'm trying to think if there's any clients that hate us.
No, I didn't ask that. No,
but you do. You can run into that. You know, it's part of the process. Some people might fire you.
Yeah.
But then you live and learn from it, right? I mean, and if you don't, then you better.
I asked that because I have a severe skill set of no details. I'm not a detail person at all. And so I knew anyone who I hired on the admin side. I haven't hired an agent. I don't have a team technically. Well, sort of. But anyway, but the admin had to be like the most detailed person, the most organized, because that was my massive deficiency. But yours sound like very organized, like systems wise.
Yes. Ashton's very type A. So it is just, she goes off of goals. So goals have to be set, and that's what drives her, is the numbers and whatever she can do to succeed and for her family, her family's number one to her. And Katie's the same way. I think Katie and I are a little more on probably the squirrel mentality,
Yep. Bright, shiny object syndrome.
Exactly. And Christina's just steady on the course,
And Christina is
my admin.
an admin.
Yep.
That makes sense for an admin. Yeah.
She just, you just tell her, hey, can you do this? Can you do this? And she's on it and she does it and it's gone,
Yeah.
My daughter was my admin for a while there too. And that was awesome because she had no fear on the phones either. And then because she turned 26 and she had my first grandbaby.
Oh, congrats.
Thanks. And she fell off our insurance, so she had to and I just couldn't afford to do insurance, so she had to leave me, which just broke my heart. But so Christina came in and she's filled that void.
Good.
So that's good.
Have you hired any agents that didn't work out?
No.
That's like, how long has it taken you to find the agents that you've brought on? Like, have you watched their business for a couple years, couple months? Because that's really, you haven't had a team for, a couple years, but it's not been a long time, but still.
No.
That says something.
I'm pretty picky.
Yeah.
I feel like when I worked in the restaurant business, I worked in pizza. So I worked Pizza Hut and Papa John's and I was the training coordinator and I was a general manager and I was an area manager.
When did you work for Papa John's? What years?
Oh, good Lord. Jessa was a baby.
20,
99.
Okay, never
90,
mind. I used to know the owners.
Tom Donaldson?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Tom and his son.
His wife, she's the one I talked with the most. I did employee benefits.
Did you?
Previously, and we handled all their employee benefits.
That's crazy.
Until I stopped that. I got fired from that industry in 2016. So
yeah, no, I left there just because it just wasn't very family friendly.
Yeah, no.
No.
Not that they weren't, it just the business isn't.
No, not at all. And I think I had the highest retention levels at both places just because I just care too much probably. And it can be, a blessing and a curse at the same time because I won't give up on you. But there's a time where you have to do that.
Yeah.
But, so I just feel like I date the agent first, Yeah. Kate and I had probably chatted quite a long time before she joined.
Yeah. Were you helping with her business? Or
no, not necessarily. Ashton and Katie were friends.
Okay.
And, I thought, let's look at maybe adding another agent. And so Ashton said Katie would be a great asset. So Ashton and I were office mates in the old team, just to kind of preface that.
Okay.
So I knew her work ethic and I knew her really well. And her and I had a really good relationship.
That makes more sense. Yeah.
So that's where that came to be. And then last fall, I think she had brought up Katie, and Katie had just left her other team. Mm-hmm. And she's like, I'm going to try solo for a little while and see what happens. I'm like, no problem. I'm here if you need anything, though. Yeah. If you need help with something, I'm here to help you. If you need anything, just let me know. And she thought that was great. And we went out for coffee a few times and chit-chatted and stuff, and she decided to pull the trigger, and here we are. Yeah. So she's rocking and rolling. She's doing great.
Good for you.
And I think it's amazing. Ashton has doubled every year, since she started real estate. So that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah. It tells a lot about them, but also the leadership, the willingness you are to help or have to help them. So good for you.
I don't ever make decisions that has to do with the team without involving them.
Yeah.
It's silly to do that. There's some team leads that'll just be like, okay, let's go do this. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. This is what you need to do. You run your own business at the same time as you're on a team.
Yeah.
So if this doesn't fit into your business, it's going to be hard to accumulate it into the team's business, right?
Yep.
So I always talk about, okay, well, this is where we're spending on leads. This is where we're at. These are the things we're doing. What are your thoughts? Is this a good lead source, do you think? Research it for me and see what your thoughts are. I have mine, but I want yours.
Yeah.
And I think that they really appreciate that.
Yeah.
And their input is invaluable because they're out there in the trenches too.
Well, they have to commit to it, right?
Right.
They're not good. It's tough to get someone on board when you tell them exactly what they need to do, especially when they're agents.
Well, that's the thing that people who run teams need to understand is that they're still independent contractors. They're still 1099. They still own their own business. Even though you're supplying things for them to run their business, it's still their business. So why can't they be in that decision-making process? I think it's silly not to allow that, you know.
Is there anyone nationally or locally that run a team that you're like, I'm trying to model them? And you don't, if you want to share, you can. If you don't, you're like, there isn't really anyone. I'm just trying to do what I think is best.
I'm just doing what I think is best. And I think that we're just rocking and rolling through our processes and just trying to be the best that we can and make sure we're taking care of our clients. I guess I've never really studied another team, to be honest with you.
But you ran a team, so the pizza industry, you ran big.
Oh yeah.
See,
I had like 4 stores that I ran.
That's such a carryover trait, right?
Oh, for sure.
I mean, very few people. What was it? I had someone else on that had big business. Oh yeah, it was Jeff Johnson, I think. But he, had previous work experience that carried over really well to an agent. And I was like, well, that's why you do well. Like, this is, you do X, Y, Z, and it carries over from one industry to another.
I think if you're not a people person, you're definitely in the wrong business, though. If you can't, understand where different people are coming from and have, hear their viewpoints and not just be, one eye focused on your viewpoint. Right. I think that's a disservice to anybody. I think that people need to know that they're being heard.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Yep.
So as we wrap this up, let's give the viewers, lenders or agents, one last hey, this is what you would recommend agents to be doing right now, whether it's tactical, whether it's high level, what advice would you give agents or lenders right now? And this is June of 2024.
Just have systems in place. And I think communication, I think everybody needs to communicate, because that is one of the things that for lenders, for us, that determines who we use, in all honesty.
It's exactly what I do. Someone asked me the other day, do you pick the lender? Do you recommend the lender with the lowest rate? And I'm like, honestly, I don't. I recommend the ones that communicate the best. And I will assume that between the 3 that I recommend, someone's going to have a pretty low rate. And I'll leave that up to the client.
Can we say our lender name?
Yeah, for sure.
So Jason Mullen is my go-to.
Yeah.
He's my ride or die.
The golfer.
Yes. He's my ride or die guy. And he just made a move to Community Choice, which is a great move.
I don't know if I knew that.
Yeah,
cool.
He just did it. So he just started this week.
I know someone, an executive, and I don't know, his VP there, Josh Murphy. But anyway, he's not a lender. Anyway,
so cool. He's just one of those people that he will do everything and anything for his client. And if that means pushing them off on somebody else to make the deal work, he will. He'll find somebody who's going to get them pre-approved. Yeah. And his communications come out every week, just like ours do. So that is one of the things that I love. And he is on top of all of it. He's my ride or die guy in that respect. And so, and I have a couple other ones that I use, but he's definitely my go-to, and he's partnered up with us. So
yeah, absolutely. I always say once a transaction goes under contract, I don't want the lender surprise. And I will only recommend lenders that stop surprising me.
Correct. He's never bombed a deal for me.
Yeah.
In a couple of years. That's pretty good.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, and that just shows that he does a lot of work up front too, right?
Absolutely.
There isn't willing, they're approved, but we'll have to get some other things to make it happen. But that's not the same.
Yeah. When we cross that bridge, when you got your bigger banks, we can go on for days about that.
Yes.
I don't know. I just think it's important that the agents have some sort of systems, and they have the right communication and regular communication, and transparency is key in my mind.
Yeah. I love it. I appreciate you jumping on.
You bet.
I know it was a little last minute-ish and, whatnot, but
all good.
Thank you very much.
It worked out perfect.
Yes, I'm glad it did. We'll see you at the next transaction.
All right. Sounds good.
Thanks, Joanne.
Thanks.
Bye.